Two young men, Ben and Mickey, navigate the recent collapse of society. The duo, despite a myriad of survival challenges, endure and push one another in different ways. Ben pushes Mickey to be more realistic and efficient, while Mickey pushes Ben to be more human and hopeful. Separately, both approaches are flawed, but together they create just enough charge and energy to keep the two going. When one of the men dies, we see that without human connection, the mind and the spirit quickly devolve into a more primal sense of purpose. Chapter 1: Ain't No Grave. The battery begins with Mickey standing outside of a home, headphones on, music playing, and this is a zombie film, so of course, listening to headphones isn't a great idea, but this scene is already telling you something about Mickey. He's standing there, tuned out from the world around him and the dangers. Then Ben suddenly comes running out the house, screaming, "Go, go, go!" You can hear a dog barking from inside. Ben turns, fires 2 shots, and the barking stops. That moment tells us something right away. Mickey, he's the one who's outside, listening to music. Ben is the one inside, doing what has to be done, likely scavenging. Mickey, he's waiting. Ben, he's moving. Mickey's trying to block the world out while Ben is already living within it and dealing with it head on. We then see clips of the two men doing different tasks, scavenging, walking, surviving, and just existing in this dead world while Ain't No Grave plays in the background. That song choice is perfect because this isn't a movie that starts with the world ending. The world has already ended. It's already pretty much said and done. There's no big outbreak scene, no news reports, no explanations by any scientists of how everything fell apart. We're just dropped into the aftermath with these two young men who are still on the move. The dead won't stay down, but neither will Ben and Mickey. They keep walking, they keep eating, they keep searching houses, they keep doing what they have to do. Not because they have some grand plan, not because Ben is some master prepper who knows of some secret underground complex or a massive group housing survivors in a random city or town, but because stopping means death. They don't have the answers, they don't have the luxuries. Ben doesn't know what's left out there, and neither does Mickey. So they walk. That opening already shows us the difference between them. Ben has accepted the world for what it is now, and Mickey just hasn't, or at least he doesn't want to. Chapter 2: Sharks. Ben and Mickey are in the car when Ben begins to toy with the radio, looking for a station. Of course, there's only static. Better than the shit they used to have on, he says. Mickey asks him if he remembers a girl he used to talk to from somewhere, and Ben sighs. A quick Google search will show that the apocalypse in this film has actually only been going on a few months, which is very evident because Mickey seems so dead set on hanging on to the past. It's hard to blame him, as the world he knew was just here less than a year ago. It can't all have gone to shit, right? We get more evidence of this as Mickey and Ben search Mickey's assumed dead girlfriend's home. Ben takes tools like the walkie-talkies, gas can, foldable chair. Mickey, he lingers in his girlfriend's room, gazing at her pictures. He takes a pair of her panties and he smells them. Then he does the same with her perfume. He wraps the perfume in the panties, and then he takes a picture of her, looking at it and gazing blankly at himself in the mirror, like he's in some sort of disbelief for a moment. He can't believe the cruelty that he's experiencing. His love gone. All he has left of her is a scent. But that's more than most. Ben calls out to Mickey as Mickey has his headphones on, blocking out the noise. He passes Ben a toothbrush and toothpaste as they both begin to brush while leaning against the vehicle of, I assume, Mickey's girlfriend's parents, as it's more of a family vehicle. Ben snaps to get his attention and shows him that he laid down the back seats of the car, so now they can have a place to lay down from time to time. Mickey seems unimpressed. Ben is able to find pleasure in the small things, a true survivor. Mickey has things he misses about the world. One would get the impression that Ben didn't have much in life he valued, as he does not care for the personal and intimate necessities of life, at least not to the same degree of Mickey. Mickey and Ben sit on the patio of the home. When Ben informs Mickey, he knows exactly what's on his mind. He wants to stay here. They argue for a moment as Ben explains how they were trapped in a home in Pittsfield. This is where we learn more about the two. Mickey and Ben were trapped with the girlfriend's family, her mother, brother, and father. The girlfriend apparently was at her suburban home in the current town. That was the mission. Come here to see if Mickey's girlfriend's here. If not, that sucks. Mick questions what the hell they're even doing. Just moving and walking to where? For what? That's when Ben explains to him, we're like sharks. They can't stop moving in the water or they suffocate and die. So off they go. Chapter 3, Pixie Girl. Mickey is fidgeting with one of the walkie-talkies he and Ben got from his girlfriend's home. He is going through a bag of batteries looking for a charged match when he finds them. He and Ben test the range of the two of them and joke a bit when suddenly the conversation between a woman and an older man can be heard. They seem to be discussing locating a film for some children to watch. Mickey attempts to communicate, but he is informed by the man to never contact them again, and that there is no room for them. He also informs Annie that he does not want her talking to them. Despite the warning, Mickey continues attempts, fervently trying to reach Annie. Ben calls him out on it when he sits Mickey down because he's clearly troubled over not getting in contact with this woman. Ben calls him out saying, "You're a romantic. I'm a realist, and that's okay." Ben explains that to Mickey, this Annie girl is like some post-apocalyptic pixie girl, like some end-of-the-world fantasy, and explains that in reality, she's likely nothing how he expects. So let it go. Stop trying to contact her because we are clearly unwelcome there. Chapter 4. No one's gonna flip that switch back on. Mickey stands up to Ben on the rule about no sleeping in houses as he wishes to feel human again. Ben isn't trying to have a replay of what happened in Pittsfield. However, he gives in. He sits outside stringing a bow and listening to music with Mickey's headphones. Mickey asks for them back, but Ben says he'll get them back tomorrow as he won't feel safe staying here with Mickey too distracted. This is where Ben explains to Mickey that he can get them both killed. They are a battery, he says. And then he says no one's gonna flip that switch back on, hinting that the power between the two of them is all that's keeping them both going, like a battery. Ben expresses that he likes music too, but he always has to watch both of their backs because Mick is too busy hiding in his small comforts. The comfort seeking comes to a disturbing head when Mickey ends up pleasuring himself in front of a zombie girl. It's weird as fuck, definitely. However, this is an accumulation of him desperately missing his girlfriend, love, women, and sex in general, and just human contact. It's a sort of release, if you will, pun intended. Suddenly, boom, the zombie's head just gets blown off by Ben, as he may have thought that Mickey was in some sort of trouble in there. He jokes and laughs and walks off. That's probably the hardest he laughed during the entire movie. We later have a scene of Mickey trying to contact Annie on the talkie. He vents about how he can't do this anymore. She eventually responds and tells him that the place she's at isn't what he thinks it is. She does genuinely seem like she wanted to give him some sort of comfort and even connect with the stranger, even briefly. She tells him to focus on Ben and surviving with his friend. Mickey rebuttals as he and Ben are too unlike. He barely even knows the guy. This seems to upset Annie as she tells him she didn't pick up the talkie to talk like schoolgirls, and to let it go and not to contact that channel ever again. This brings us back to what Ben said about her being a pixie girl. Sure, she's not a horrible person, I'm sure. She did seem to want to offer comfort, but ultimately, the image of her in Mickey's mind is likely, very, very likely, the furthest from who this woman really is and the life she leads in this new dead world. Chapter 5. Anthem for the Already Defeated. Chapter 5 starts with Ben listening to Anthem for the Already Defeated and drinking whiskey with the gun in his hand, just jamming out and enjoying himself. No responsibilities, no job to wake up to tomorrow, just survival and finding what he can in the little things. A gunshot and some screams can be heard, and he goes to investigate. Likely another survivor who just shot and killed a zombie, or perhaps been killed by one. Ben wakes before Mickey and is standing over him. He places the baseball bat next to him and then goes out and gets one of the zombies they had tied up. I'm assuming they had these as some sort of alert system, like dogs. Ben gets one and forces it into the house and then into Mickey's room. "I left the bat in there, just fucking swing the bat, Mickey." Mick begs for him to open the door as commotion and Mickey's screams can be heard. I swear I thought Mickey would die here on my first time viewing. But as Ben opens the door, we see the lesser charge of the battery did what he had to do when his back was against the wall. This wasn't to be a prick or anything. Ben knew that Mickey had to do that in order to survive. He may have to do it again someday. Mickey punches him and runs into the woods covered in zombie blood. Ben goes after him and asks what he's doing. This is where Mickey admits that he contacted Annie. Ben tells him to come get dressed and cleaned up as they head back into the house. Later, the two play catch, and Ben starts to gesture and jest in attempts to make his friend feel better. He even tells him that there's still girls out there somewhere. We'll find you somebody one day. Ben understands Mickey. He doesn't blame him for the feelings he has because Ben has them too. He's just far better at suppressing and coping with things. And perhaps he even finds a bit of solace in this new world. Just him and his boy Mick. We then get a montage of the two hanging out playing ball and having what seems like an apple war at the orchard. Mickey even nut taps Ben as he rests. These two men, despite extreme differences, have become good friends. Mickey admitted to Annie, "I barely even know him. Baseball was all they had in common, or so they thought. But now on the road, they joke and laugh almost like two big kids with the world as their oyster." Chapter 6. The Battery. The chapter begins with the encounter involving Annie and her group. Ben and Mickey investigate a vehicle left on the road, and Mickey notices the hood is still hot. Someone's here. Suddenly, a man with a knife ambushes our duo from the ditch and puts it to Mickey's throat, demanding the keys. Ben informs him that the keys are in the ignition. When the man releases Mickey to get into the car, Ben pulls the keys from his pocket, along with his gun, and shoots the man. He approaches and puts another in his head to ensure he doesn't turn. Shortly after, Annie appears with one of her goons, and things seem to be fine for a moment until Mickey says her name. Suddenly, Annie shoots Ben. She throws the keys away while her goon gasses up the truck, which the knife-wielding man had taken from them. Clearly, she was trying to save face in front of this guy. Mickey searches for the keys after Annie leaves, but he couldn't find them, and the gunshots end up attracting a small horde of zombies. Soon, Ben and Mickey are trapped in the car. This is exactly the kind of situation Ben has been trying to avoid the entire film. Earlier, he compared them to sharks, saying they have to keep moving or they die. Now they're stuck, and they are surrounded, injured, and helpless. They're repeating Pittsfield, this time on 4 wheels. After a few days trapped in the car, Mickey eventually leaves in search for the keys. He is finally the one who's on the move, but it's too late. He gets bitten and returns to Ben. In the end, Ben has to kill him. That moment completes the tragedy of their relationship. Mickey was always the weaker charge between the two, but he was still part of the battery. He kept Ben human in ways Ben may not have fully understood. Ben was the realist, he was the survivor and the one who knew how to stay on the move. Mickey was the romantic, he was the one who was grieving the old world, the one still reaching for comfort and connection. But neither of them was completely alone because they had one another. After Mickey dies, Ben stays another day and night. Then he gets the walkie-talkie. He speaks into it knowing full well Annie is listening. He tells her about Pittsfield, how after all those months trapped, eventually him and Mickey just opened the door. The infected flooded in, and they just went out the back. It was that simple all along. He informs Annie that he's going to try it again. If it doesn't work, he'll put a bullet in his head. But if it does, he'll come put one in hers. It works. The song, "We've Got a Lot to Be Glad For," plays as a now lone Ben treks the road as the horde can be seen following close behind him. He no longer walks with his friend Mickey, the other charge. The horde close on his trail symbolizes that Ben now moves with death behind him, and he will bring death. No longer with the simple mission of survival, now something more personal. Vengeance. Ben keeps moving despite losing Mickey, but the battery has died. It is a tragedy within a tragedy. Not only did Mickey die, but so did a brotherly bond that had only just begun to blossom. Conclusion. Ultimately, the battery is about two former teammates trying to survive long enough to feel normal. Ben adapts by stripping life down to simple tasks, motion, instinct, practicality. Mickey survives by clinging on to memories, music, romance, items, hopes. Separately, both approaches are very flawed, but together, they create just enough charge to keep going. That is the tragedy of the film. The battery works until one half dies. Ben survives the ending, but what made survival meaningful to him has already been lost. And that is the meaning and the beauty that I saw in the 2012 film, The Battery.